Hey, fellow enthusiasts, welcome back to another episode of the Motorsport Enthusiast. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite museum all time, the Peterson Museum located in Los Angeles. As you can see here, this is absolutely a beautiful building. The museum was actually redesigned in 2015. It cost $125 million to redesign this bad boy. The museum was founded on June 11th of 1994 by Robert Peterson and his wife Margie, and it's been around ever since then. It is multi-layer with a basement and I believe 3 floors, if I recall. But today we're going to be talking about some of the special vehicles that are in exhibit. Unfortunately, this video is not going to go through all the exhibits and all the amazing vehicles that are in there. I'm just going to highlight some of the ones in some exhibits that I thought were pretty unique and different, and some that have some pretty cool historical significance as well as entertainment significance, as you'll see here in the future. Again, this video does not do it any justice. You definitely have to go in there and see the vehicles yourself. Now, this vehicle right here is actually called the Aquarius that you're seeing. It is actually a collection of James Hetfield, a co-founder of a little rock band called Metallica. Some of you may have heard of them or not, or some of them have heard of them, some of you may not. I'm not a big rock person, but I definitely know who they are. So he has various vehicles that are in there. I believe he has a total of 6. This happens to be one of them. This Aquarius is actually a redesigned vehicle. It is designed off of the 1930s French Art Deco, which is just extravagant and absolutely beautiful. It's by far one of my favorite vehicles in there. Now, as we go forward, we're actually going to go and see the next vehicle, which is called the Slow Burn, which is a 1936 Auburn 852 boat tail speedster. This is actually a replica, and this bad boy is actually made out of fiberglass. So it was interesting when they were creating the car, they had issues with the body and the paint because of being fiberglass, so they had to do some unique design. I don't remember exactly what it was, but when you go to the museum, you'll be able to get some more information on it. But as you can see, it is absolutely a beautiful vehicle. And the next vehicle he has here on his collection is a 1956 Ford F-150 called the Straight Edge. It was already modified before, but he did some additional modifications. I mean, this truck is absolutely gorgeous. I believe a lot of these vehicles here were actually donated from him to the Hatfield Museum. He is a bit of a he's a not only he's I wouldn't say he's a collector. He might be, but he really believes in restoring vehicles, and it seems like the vehicles he's restoring are vehicles from his childhood. And he's adding a bit of a twist to them and putting a little bit of modern design and cool artistic design. Now here, we're actually now in the vault. Some TikTokers and other people will say, oh, you have to have special access to get in here. Oh, I'm exclusive. No, that's all bullshit. If you can pay $20, they'll let you inside the vault. And they have these folks that are volunteers, and they tell you a whole information of a lot of these vehicles. Now, some of the vehicles here, I didn't get a chance to write down all the names, unfortunately. But man, there are vehicles that were built in the 1910s, 1920s, and 1930s that are no longer existent. And you learn so much about these vehicles. Like one of the fun facts that I learned about these vehicles down there in the basement is in the 1920s and the 10s, Detroit was the Silicon Valley of vehicles. You had all these manufacturers going there because of the steel industry and just all the manufacturing that was taking place over there. You had so many manufacturers deciding to build vehicles, and so again, it was the Silicon Valley of automobiles back in the day. And so you get to see a lot of these vehicles that were produced early on. Now, as you see here in the video, we actually have a slew of vehicles from movies. So one Magnum PI, I believe. This one right here is from Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Knight Rider, that's Kit, one of my favorite TV shows. I have no idea what the hell this is. It's a Mustang, and I don't know this either. It's from the 70s. And then Grease Lightning from Grease. Obviously, all of you know who know Grease is. This is from, oh shit, I can't remember. I remember. I think there's some guy named Kato. I can't recall. But it was the Green Hornet. That's what it was. And I thought this one might have been from Back to the Future, but I'm not sure. And this right here is actually Franklin Delano Roosevelt's vehicle, which was pretty cool to see. It actually had bulletproof glass because of World War II, which was pretty amazing. It was thick. This right here is actually a vehicle, and this one right here is a 1962 Gaz, which was actually used for Nikita Khrushchev, who used to be the former premier of the Soviet Union. So they have some pretty cool historical vehicles down below. They actually have a Popemobile. They actually have a vehicle from Eisenhower Nixon days, and they have Saddam Hussein's vehicle actually in there as well. So they have a slew of historical vehicles down in the vault. Again, not just vehicles that have been lost in time, but vehicles that actually had some historical significance. And this badass MFer that you're seeing right here is a 1953 Dodge Power Wagon. This thing came with a 3.8 liter inline six with 94 horsepower with a top speed of 45 miles per hour. This thing obviously was not built for speed. It was definitely built for off-roading. But man, it is one badass looking truck. So I definitely had to take a little video of this one. And the next vehicle we got is a 1958 Jeep FC 170. It's got a 5.7 liter Dodge Hemi V8 with 395 horsepower. This was definitely a unique vehicle to say the least. This vehicle was actually brought to SEMA and shown. I don't think this thing actually had some actual practical use to it. Going forward, what we're seeing here now is, believe it or not, the very first Le Mans Porsche. This is a 1951 356 SL Gumund Coupe, G-M-U-N-D. I can't pronounce that. I don't speak German, folks. I know a little bit of Spanish and some English and, I don't know, maybe a tad bit of French, but nothing German. But this bad boy had a top speed of 100 miles per hour with a horsepower of 46, which is pretty small. But this thing had a 1.1 liter flat four. So kind of impressive, to be quite honest. There was only 4 of these bad boys built, but it's interesting to say the least. The first Porsche that made it into Le Mans. Curious as to know why it was so underpowered. Now, this next vehicle here by far is one of my favorite vehicles. This is a 1933 Duesenberg SJ convertible by the Walter M. Murphy Company. The reason why I love this vehicle so much, it's just so elegant, and it's just a perfect representation of the 30s. And believe it or not, this is very amazing how the power of this car. The top speed for a 1933 vehicle was 150 miles per hour. That, if you look at a lot of the cars in the museum for that time frame or the time era, they were nowhere near close to that. It had 400 horsepower, and it was a supercharged 7-liter inline 8. I mean, that's a monster for 1933. That is absolutely amazing. But it's not just that. It's such a beautiful vehicle. And unfortunately, the video doesn't do it justice. There was only, unfortunately, I think, 36 of them built, at least the SJ models. I'm not exactly sure what distinguishes it between an SJ and other models. But there's only 36 of these unique kind of vehicles. And man, I gotta tell you, it is a beautiful vehicle. And it's not just that. They have Pininfarina exhibit as well. If you don't know who he is actually a world famous designer. He's designed a lot of Italian vehicles. I wanted to add some more. I wanted to actually add some of his collection to it, but I don't think it does it justice. Honestly, this video does not do the Peterson Museum justice for the amazing, beautiful vehicles that are there. They also have pop culture vehicles from Star Wars, Back to the Future, and Batman. Again, if you check out my Instagram, The Moto Inu, you'll see some of the pictures. But if you're anywhere in the world and you're coming to Los Angeles, I strongly recommend coming to the Peterson Museum. It is just a phenomenal place, and the people who work there have a wealth of information that they're willing to share with you. So if you're a true enthusiast of motorsports, cars, they actually have motorcycles, and I probably should have added some motorcycles. I just wanted to keep the video relatively short, but they have beautiful Ducatis. Some of the first Ducatis that were actually made were actually there. I believe they have some Harley Davidsons. I'll post those on the Instagram so you can see, but they have amazing vehicles there. And it's not just vehicles that were elegant, but they have very artistic vehicles as well. Vehicles that were specially designed for whatever reason. And so it's like art, but it's also seeing history as well. It's a combination of the two. So I strongly recommend it. Now, going forward, I have been unfortunately a little behind on creating some new content, but I will definitely be creating a lot more content on a more regular basis. I'm actually going to be doing my very first international video here next month. I'm going to 2 countries. We're going to be going to a couple automotive museums to check out the vehicles through history in that country. We're also going to try and see if we can talk to some locals in regards to some car clubs and the car scene. So we're going to start taking this international and start talking about motorsports all over the world. And I'm excited about doing this. That was the purpose of this channel, was to educate in regards to motorsports, not just here in the United States, but around the world. You know, the world may seem big, but it's smaller than you think. A lot of people share the same interests. We do it different ways, but in reality, we all have the same interest. So I'm looking forward to bringing that over. I'll be uploading a couple new videos before going overseas. But again, follow the Instagram so you can see which countries I'm going to, and I'm going to start taking some pictures of some pretty cool cars that are out there that, you know, you think that you know all the Chevrolets that are made here in the United States, but wait till you see the ones that are made overseas, or BMWs or Volkswagens. You know, there's these little nuances that you wouldn't expect when you go to another country. But yeah, please like and subscribe. Again, I will definitely be bringing some more content here on a more bi-weekly basis, I should say, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.